I'm going to give you the best close-range weapons to use inside of Warzone after the Season 3 update. Now, we all know the Renetti is dominating the meta right now. It is like a must-use weapon, but in the future, it is going to get nerfed. Hopefully, by the time you're watching this video, it is nerfed, but even if it isn't, I found a new weapon that actually kills even faster than the already broken Renetti. So, we're going to give you the Renetti loadout. We're going to give you loadouts that you will inevitably use once the Renetti is nerfed, and we'll also show you one at the end that is just so unbelievably broken that I think might be an even bigger problem than the Renetti in the wrong hands. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these stats, and then we will show you the builds, because this is so important, not only just for what loadouts you pick, but also what weapons you're picking up off ground loot, because you may be losing gunfights because you're still picking up a heavily nerfed SMG. Let's check it out. So as always, we're going to use the numbers from True Game Data. He both data mines these numbers and does some of the testing himself. And we are going to look at the baseline. Right now, we know that the Renetti and the HRM have kind of been the long-standing meta. The HRM has been meta for a long time. It didn't catch a significant nerf in the most recent update, but the Renetti caught a buff and it kind of slipped through the shadows, and now all of a sudden the word is out. It kills in 490 milliseconds, which is 120 milliseconds faster than the already impressively fast HRM, and it is dominating the meta. So we are expecting the Renetti to get nerfed, but even though, in the meantime, I will give you the perfect Renetti loadout that I've been using to reach up top 100 inside of Warzone Ranked, on top of working on videos, and yeah, I've been putting in work. Okay, so right now it's the Renetti and the HRM. Let's look at some other viable options. The Striker 9 is one of my favorites. I think it shoots a little bit straighter than the HRM, but for some people who don't like the HRM, the Striker 9 is another great option. From there, we can also look at guns like the WSP 9. Now, the WSP 9 kills faster than the HRM, but it's important to note one thing. The WSP 9 has an open bolt delay, which means every time we pull that trigger, there is a small delay between when that bullet is actually fired. It's typically an LMG thing, but it actually exists on an SMG, and when you check it out, it makes it to where technically, if you were in a straight up 50-50, you guys see each other at the exact same time, the WSP 9 would kill slower. Now, if you get the jump on someone, they're not going to feel the difference between the open bolt delay, but it is something to be aware of. But with the WSP 9 build we're going to be showing you later, it kind of mitigates for that. Okay, so moving forward, let's talk about some guns that aren't worth using at all. So we have the baseline, a very normal looking meta, and then we have the way heavy outlier. Okay, AMR 9 used to be one of my favorite guns. Horrible now. It got nerfed. It sucks at close range. It sucks at mid range. We are not rocking the AMR 9 anymore. Okay, the Ram 9 used to be one of my favorites as well. It used to be really good in the mid range, but now it falls off in the mid range, and I would much rather run something like the Striker or the HRM. There's just no reason all the other guns meet the same expectations as the Ram 9. They all have great mobility. They all have faster time to kill up close. There's no reason to run a loadout Ram 9 anymore. And then we have the Striker. The Striker feels very similar to the Striker 9, but it's worse in almost every way. Just so you can see it, just compare the blue line to the purple line. The blue line is better. There's no reason to run the Striker 9, or there's no reason to run the Striker if you can run the Striker 9. Okay? And then finally, the WSP Swarm. It chunks up close, but at long range, I still see people running loadouts with these from a long time ago. After 6 meters, you're getting slammed. Okay, do not run the WSP Swarm. Okay, now there are some pretty cool ones, and on top of this, that we can use as sniper supports that no one knows about. Okay, it is the Holger 2.6 with an aftermarket and the MCW with an aftermarket. So I'll go ahead and clean up this graph just so we can compare it all to the HRM. But as you can see, starting with the Holger actually kills in 539 milliseconds up close, which is faster than the HRM, almost as fast as the Renetti, and it holds pretty well line on line with that HRM, which could make it, especially with that second damage range drop off being at 25 meters, it could be as good as a sniper support as the HRM. Now, the other one that's kind of a surprise as well is the MCW. The MCW has the Jack Raven kit, and as you can see, it kills faster than the HRM as an AR, and I'm not seeing anyone run these builds, but I've been running them, I've been testing them, I've been using them in pubs and inside the firing range, and the MCW and the Holger are surprisingly good. So outside of the Renetti being way outside the normal range, and obviously the super broken gun we're going to talk about later in today's video, we have a really solid close range meta with a lot of options. Let's go ahead and get into the builds. Okay, I'm not going to make you wait for it. The number one gun to use right now is the Renetti. Okay, incredible movement speed, and more importantly, a jarring time to kill, and very easy to control. Okay, inside of Rebirth Ranked, this is what pretty much everyone is running inside of my top 250 lobbies, inside of tournaments. It is the must go-to right now, okay? This is my build for it. I rock the Nidar because I really like having that wide open circle. I used to be a fan of the Slate Reflector, but honestly, I feel like I have trouble seeing my target sometimes, so I've been running the Nidar. From there, I run the Zim Compensator. I run the 50-round drum mag. You're also going to have to throw on the Jack Ferocity Carbine Kit. This is a Renetti, by the way, but this basically turns it into an SMG. And then I have the Bruin Onslaught grip underneath. Now, an important note on this, even though it is a pistol, because we put the Ferocity Carbine Kit on, we no longer can shoot this gun underwater, and we cannot shoot this gun on ladders like we would with a normal pistol. So keep that in mind as you go in to use this weapon. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is my Renetti class that I've been using to reach top 100 inside of Warzone Ranked. Before we get on to number 2, I don't have a sponsor, but I do want to shout out my Discord, okay? If you are looking for people to play Rebirth Island with, Rebirth Ranked, or maybe run up some nukes inside of Urzikstan, join the Warzone Academy Discord. Find some cool dudes like yourself who like the Warzone, who like the Warzone Academy strats, and most importantly, are using the right meta weapons to get your trade. Join the Warzone Academy Discord. That'll be linked in the pinned comment and the description. You can find members from NA, from EU, find some buddies to game with, get in there. I've had a lot of success stories of people just hanging out, meeting cool friends, and finding new, worldwide gaming buddies. So go ahead and check that out. That'll be linked in the pinned comment and the description. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the second build of the day. So once again, the HRM is still going to be a very steady gun, and I think once the Renetti gets nerfed, a lot of people are still going to love using the HRM. Great movement speed, very controllable, clean iron sights, and it's been a staple for a long time for a reason. Honestly, I'm kind of over it, but it's dang good, and you might as well run it, and you might as well have the right build. So we have the Zim Compensator, we have the Thorn Barrel, we have the DR6 Handstop, which is one of my favorite because it helps out with both sprint to fire speed and ADS speed. We then have the 50-round drum and then the folding stock. This is pretty much the staple build for all tournament players and sweats. Moving forward from there to number 3, close range weapon, we're actually going to turn this into a sniper support, okay? As we saw from the numbers over there, the HRM actually has a pretty impressive damage out to about 30 meters. Now, this is kind of where I normally would suggest running the AMR, but as we saw, the AMR just got torched, and there's no reason to run that AMR anymore. The AMR sniper support is dead. So we're going to talk about some other sniper supports, okay? First off, we have the HRM sniper support, okay? If you want, you can use this weapon. I always suggest using something with a bright iron sight, and you can see I kind of have like the old classic Grau iron sight, and it's just a very, very straight shooter. Great aim assist on this one. It looks long. The gun looks long down to the icon. The gun looks long in your hand, but it still is plenty mobile for you to move across the map. And the stats back it up as well, with a 219 millisecond ADS speed is very snappy for a sniper support, and then 111 milliseconds, like that is very, very snappy for a sniper support as well. This is my go-to. So we're swapping out the long barrel, which has that really clean Grau iron sight. We have the sonic suppressor because with a sniper support, we want to reach out further, and we need that bullet velocity to feel a little bit more hit scan. But once again, have the DR6 handstop, the 50-round drum, and then we threw on the folding stock for a little bit more recoil control. If you're very confident with your recoil control, you can throw on the light stock, which will help out your ADS speed, your ADS movement speed, your movement, and your crouch movement speed. But I think the average player would prefer the folding stock. If you really want to get cracked, throw on the no stock, but I think most people are going to struggle with that, so I don't want to go ahead and recommend that. But what I do recommend is this overall build right here. So that wraps it up for the HRM as both a regular build and a sniper support. Let's get into one of my favorite weapons that I've been using. Actually broke my personal kill record with this weapon alongside the Bruin. It is the Striker 9. It is so fun to shoot. The movement is incredible. And most importantly, for both mouse and keyboard and controller, it shoots very, very straight. Now, I typically, especially for controller, like to rock iron sight builds because I feel like you get more aim assist on iron sight builds. But even for mouse and key players, as I always suggest, if you're struggling to see the sights, throw on a very bright, vibrant camo that you can really see those iron sights, bright green. And as you can see here, or any of the solid bold camos. So easy to line up a target, even with iron sights on mouse and key. So what I've done is I've built this for not only movement speed, but also I like to have these longer barrels to help bring up that bullet velocity up to about 600. Now, if I were to run this as a sniper support, I would probably get rid of this Striker factory stock and trade it out for something like high velocity ammo to help bring that bullet velocity up to like 750 or something. But this would be my more traditional SMG. I have the Zim compensator, I have the DR6 hand stop, and it's one of those where it looks like a large SMG, but when you look at the numbers, okay, 100 millisecond sprint to fire, 218 millisecond ADS. Like, this is a plenty snappy and plenty fast as I move across the map weapon for me to chow inside of doorways, inside of buildings. It looks larger, but it's very, very mobile and dynamic, and it's one of my favorite weapons, and statistically, it backs it up. Make sure you guys are taking a screenshot. If you are taking your screenshots and you enjoy my builds, make sure to drop a subscription here while you're at it so you stay tuned for all things. We have an advanced settings guide coming soon because there's some updated settings that are going to affect your in-game performance. And we also have some more advanced guides coming as well. Moving on over to number 5. This is one of the most fun guns I've used probably in the history of Warzone. Okay, it is a WSP9. Now, as we mentioned, it does have that penalty of the open bolt delay. So you might think, LMGs have open bolt delays. This WSP9 has an open bolt delay. Does that mean it's going to be sluggish? No. You zoom across the map with this WSP9 in your hand. I have seen some unbelievable clips with this gun because of how fast people move. Now, I have built this out to be a little bit more of a movement demon gun. I know I said I like to make guns a little bit more for the average player, but in my opinion, if you're going to use the WSP9, use it because you like its movement speed, you like its strafe speed, you like its fast sprint to fire. Because when you look at the stats for it, man, you have a 76 millisecond sprint to fire, a 178 millisecond ADS, and the sprint speed, and especially the tactical sprint speed, 7.4 milliseconds is absurd. So we have the no stock, we have the short light barrel, we have the DR6 hand stop, we threw on a 40 round mag. You can throw on a 50, but it is going to slow down your other stats, but depends on your mode. If I was playing trios or quads, I would throw on the 50. And then the Jack glassless optic. This makes it a movement demon gun, and I have a lot of fun running this inside of pubs. Now, real quick, I'll go ahead and show you just as a little bonus, call it a 6.5. This is my more traditional WSP build for someone who maybe doesn't like the iron sights, because I think the iron sights are a little bit clunky on the WSP9. And then more importantly, maybe you struggle with recoil control a little bit, okay? Here is my more traditional WSP9 build. Having something like the NIDAR scope on there makes it a little bit easier, even if it didn't have the damage range drop off, for something more like a sniper support. But in general, I like the previous build, but this one definitely is very, very solid if you prefer a little bit more recoil control based build. And especially since we're losing the no stock gives us a lot of movement speed, but it destroys our recoil control. So feel free to throw the NIDAR on there, or if you're really prone and, you know, really want a straight shooting gun, throw on the Jack glassless. And we all know the Jack glassless makes this thing shoot straight as a laser. I'll go and show you what it looks like real quick. I mean, that's just too easy. Still plenty mobile. The stats back it up. Still 216 millisecond when it comes to the ADS and 93 when it comes to the sprint to fire. You just don't have as fast movement speed for the rest of the gun. But this still is a very solid build. If you do want to try it, go ahead and make sure you're taking a screenshot. All right, so that was number 6.5. Let's get into something a little bit different that you're probably not used to. Sorry, 5.5. 5.5. We'll correct that in post, okay? The MCW as a sniper support. Now, the regular MCW sucks, but when you throw on the Jack Raven kit, you get a boost to your fire rate, and it becomes, as we saw earlier, one of the best guns for sniper support, okay? Once again, looking at that MCW, it kills faster than the HRM, and it reaches out to those medium ranges really well, and what it looks like in game, just like this. Very fast fire rate. You can hear it. It's a smooth shooting gun as well. Very easy to shoot. I'm hardly correcting any of the recoil on mouse and key. On controller, once again, because it's iron sights, very sticky aim assist. It's a lot of fun to use. I've always been, I run sniper nonstop, but I get a little bit bored of, you know, what I'm running as my sniper supports. This has been a really fun change up to play. Okay, so we have the sonic suppressor. The reason is we're trying to get that bullet velocity up, right? Because we want this gun to have a farther reach and a little bit more hit scan at those medium ranges. So I've thrown it up there and we've almost got about 550 meters per second. We have the DR6 hand stop because at the end of the day, we're still trying to clear out buildings with this. So we want it to be a little bit snappy, which brings us to 133 sprint to fire. Very viable for an AR. A 221 ADS, also very viable for a sniper support as well. We have the rapid strike grip, which is kind of a must because it brings down our sprint to fire by 28%. We have the 40 round mag because frankly, I think you need that if you're using this as a sniper support. And then the Jack Raven conversion kit as well. If you wanted to, you could change something up like the sonic suppressor, maybe throw on a longer barrel to get more bullet velocity. Just keep in mind that's going to affect things like your sprint to fire. And really, I can't really think of too many other ways that I'd like to build this. Me personally, I'm a big fan of the sonic suppressor, but give me a try. Let me know what you guys think. Not many people have been talking about the Jack Raven, and I think it could be a fun gun to use. Make sure you guys are taking your screenshot if you haven't already. Now, one that I don't see anyone talking about is this one right here. Okay, it is the Holger 2.6, but it has a special little attachment on it. This is an LMG, by the way. Keep in mind, as I'm zooming across the map right here, this is an LMG. And watch this. Yeah, the barrel's on fire, boys. It's the Jack Burnout kit. And the way this gun works, it has a very controllable recoil until it doesn't. Okay, so you see, very controllable recoil, but then it starts to go crazy as you hold it down and the barrel starts to smoke out. Okay, so as you can see here, we've built it out with the Jack Burnout kit down below here for its attachment. From there, we are doing our best to make this as snappy as possible. We have a 255 millisecond ADS, a 140 millisecond sprint to fire. We also threw on the DR6 hand stop to try to make this a little bit more mobile. We're throwing on the laser hawk light because we're trying to get those sprint to fire ADS down so it feels more like an SMG, and then the Jack glassless to make it more mobile. Now, this gun kills exceptionally fast, okay? We saw in the numbers, it kills faster than an HRM, okay? All the way down here at 539 millisecond time to kill. But it gets difficult to control, okay? So what I would suggest is make sure your centering's on and you will rip through your first few shots, okay? Easy downs right there. Even on fully plated players, easy knocks. But I would avoid going full throttle, holding down, you know, trying to beam someone from far away, because I mean, it's not too bad, but you can see it starts to shake around a little bit. I mean, that does look kind of sick. Like, imagine you're shooting someone's body and then it just starts flaming on them. Just keep in mind, the recoil is going to get a little bit crazy, okay? So if you need to, and you start losing control of the recoil, just finesse a little bit, come back, and then revisit it. I think this could be fun. I think I just want to see spectating people using a flaming barrel, you know, running around the map. I think it'd be a lot of fun as well. And the fact that it kills that fast up close, who knows? This could be something where you're running around Fondle, running around Rebirth, and taking out SMGs with an LMG. I think that's pretty sweet. But ladies and gentlemen, make sure if you haven't already, you're taking a screenshot of your build right here. Now, if I've missed anything, let me know down in the comments, okay? Because the close range meta is pretty open as once that Renetti gets nerfed. Now, I mentioned that there might be something better than the Renetti. Let me tell you exactly what I'm looking at, okay? We're going to take a look at the Core 45. This is your starter pistol. This is what you drop in with, okay? The Core 45 has some ridiculous attachments that help bring it down better than the Renetti, okay? When we go in here, you can add on a trigger that is the XRK V21 that ups your fire rate by 50%. That in itself makes it better than the Renetti, okay? But it doesn't stop there. You can throw on what's called the lightning fire trigger, which brings it up by 88%, which makes it an impressive 501 millisecond time to kill. Now, stay with me. I feel bad for anyone who's going and taking screenshots because they're going to be a little bit shocked. What does this mean? Okay, that means we are shooting at 750 rounds per minute. At 750 rounds per minute, you divide that by 60, because there's 60 seconds in a minute. That means 12 and a half bullets per second. Now, it is a single fire gun. Can you shoot 12 and a half bullets per second? More than likely not. Here is a click tester, and here is me trying to click as fast as I can. Late at night. 8.2. Pretty dang fast, but not anywhere near 12 and a half. Now, if I were to come up and do something like, you know, go back to my old paintball days and Boom. Now I got 12.8 seconds. Okay, that is how fast that pistol can shoot. And let me show you exactly what that looks like. Now, do I think the average player is going to be able to take advantage of this? Absolutely not. But I do have a way that you might be able to make something happen here. Obviously, I have digital triggers on my scuff, which allow me to pull the trigger pretty quick. But just for what it looks like, my average shots, like that's still, those are fully plated enemies. That's still killing very, very, very fast. Keep in mind, this is with the lightning trigger. So let's say I did have something, you know, that would allow me to... I mean, can you imagine? That is just absolutely ridiculous. Now, how can I make that happen in game? How can I shoot that fast in game? Well, obviously people can abuse macros, they can abuse auto clickers, but you're going to end up getting banned for that. Do not do that. Do not risk it. Not worth. Okay, not worth. But what is ethical and what you might try doing, and I honestly don't think this would be super meta, but I just think it's fun to try out. What you could do is you could go into something and say, all right, I'm going to make my fire weapon my left and my right click, and I'm going to change my aim down sight to something else. Okay, we'll just set that up right there. So now what you can do is you can use both of your left and right. It's a little bit weird because when you click with one trigger, you have to release before the other trigger goes off. Sorry, we can release, shoot. You can get it going. I'm late in the day. I've already had a lot of reps in. I was doing it earlier and it was absolutely insane. But do I think this is viable? Absolutely not. Okay, so let's talk about something else with the Core 45 that's going to be a little bit more viable for you. Okay, so what you can do with the Core 45 is, okay, lightning fire absolutely is not going to happen. No human in the world, I think, is clicking 12.8 seconds with just one finger. If you are, you got a lucky lady in your life. Okay, now let's try on the XRK V21 heavy match. That is 600 rounds per minute, which means 10 clicks per second, which I got about 8.5 clicks per second. Maybe if adrenaline's pumping, I can get 10. But the good thing about that is that heavy match also helps out with my hip fire. And you can throw on an akimbo. And when you throw on the akimbo, now you get to shoot 1,200 rounds. So we can go in here. And if you want to be able to, you know, try this build out, okay, here is the build. If you have rapid fire trigger finger, go ahead and go crazy. But I don't think the average player is going to be able to take advantage of that without abusing a macro, auto clicker, or something like that. That will get you banned. Don't do that. But what I think the average player will be able to take advantage of is akimbo. Okay, so what we've done is we've thrown on the XRK heavy because that helps out with our hip fire spread. From there, we've built this all around the steel fire, which helps out with our firing aiming stability, which is going to help out with our hip fire spread. And then finally, the Scarlet mounted laser. This gun is incredibly accurate while standing still, but if you're strafing, it's not super accurate. So I've actually been having a lot of fun going around in pubs because I'm now able, and we'll have to go back and we'll have to change my keybinds. Go down here, change my aim down sight to this. And now, as you can see, the hip fire is basically like 100% accurate. Even at that insane range. And keep in mind, the range on this gun does not drop off. It does not drop off. It stays steady the entire way. So if you're hitting those shots, they're doing the damage. But the beautiful thing is, with these lasers, you can get some insanely fast kills. So what I was doing is I was going around the map is I would run around and I would hit a dive and I would round a corner and I was slamming kids with Renettis, like sweaty people with Renettis, crutching to the meta, just running around. I'd hit a slide cancel and they would just get completely clotheslined. I don't think this is going to be an ultimate meta, at least not this. I'm going to show you one more build that I do believe will be an ultimate meta. But I think that's pretty dang sweet. Now, Here's the scary thing, right? We have cheaters in this inevitable game that we play, right? Cheaters suck. Our anti-cheat sucks. But if someone was able to use lightning fire and akimbo and fire both at 12 clicks per second on both hand, the time to kill would be 421 milliseconds. It would be so fast and so unfair, but hopefully that doesn't happen, but it would be pretty sweet to watch. Okay, the last one that you can build that I do believe will actually be a fair meta and a usable meta, because I think the single fire spam isn't going to be as reliable. I think it's fun to talk about, and I'll go ahead and let you take a screenshot of this build if you want to. Like I said, I think this could be really funny if you were playing with your buds and you're all just sitting there inside, like watching a doorway, and you put your laser off the side of the doorway, and then when someone chows in, you just, like, they die so fast. They die so fast. But the build that actually will become viable is this build right here, okay? We're going to go in, we're going to throw on the conversion kit. And with that conversion kit, we now have the Core 45, which kills faster than the HRM by a significant margin. Now, what the conversion kit is it sets up a binary trigger where when you pull your trigger once, it shoots. When you release your trigger once, it shoots. So you don't need to have this insanely fast trigger finger, because every time you release, it shoots a bullet. And I've used this before. I'm a big fan of this weapon. And I now take my average, 8.5 clicks per second and now becomes 16 clicks per second, because every time I release, it shoots. Very easy to control. Even like if I were to use this on controller, I can get that exact same fire rate, because with my scuff, I have digital triggers. And I'm telling you, boys, as soon as the Renetti gets nerfed, you're going to see a lot of players switching to this weapon right here. So go in, I'll switch to my controller, and you'll see I'm able to do the exact same thing because I have those digital triggers on my scuff. So every single one of these clicks is like a mouse click. And you'll see I shoot once, shoot once, shoot once, shoot once. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I think will become one of the major metas heading into, well, the inevitable, and hopefully, by the time you're watching this video, the already Renetti nerf. The build that I have right here, okay, we're going to throw on the dynamic precision stock because the recoil can get a little bit gnarly as you're ripping through rounds, okay? We have the slate reflector, but feel free to throw on something like the Nidar. I'm a big fan of that as well. That's probably what I would prefer to run. We have the Bruin Triport because I'm trying to mitigate as much recoil as I can, because with all that fire, it starts to haze up your screen quite a bit. We have the 40-round drum mag, because that's the largest mag you can get. And then the XRK IPv2 conversion kit. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a lot of fun to use, and I think will be the upcoming meta as soon as the Renetti gets nerfed. But ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed some of the fun stats that I broke down, bringing out some crazy guns like the Holger 2.6 fire barrel, the MCW sniper support with the Jack Raven, and then of course, opening up the eyes to the rapid fire Core 45, the dually pistol Core 45, and the very reliable conversion kit Core 45. Make sure to drop a subscription on this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. If I'm missing something, let me know down below what I should be running. Is there any other gun that the Academy needs to know about? Because I'm having a lot of fun with the new meta, trying to get some different things outside, especially when I'm playing pubs. When I'm playing ranked, I got top 100 to try to maintain over here. When I'm playing pubs, I like to try out new guns. So comment down below if I missed one of the weapons here, either in the long range video or the short range video. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to jump over to my Discord and join some fellow Academy members inside of game. You guys can team up together with that looking for group section inside the Discord. That'll be linked in the pinned comment and the description. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned something new. I'll see you all on the next one.